What is the slope of the line that passes through the points negative 9 comma 8 and negative 21 10? Write your answer in simplest form. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm always going to start with the formula for slope. The word slope, we put in the variable m. Then I've got my subtract signs. Along the numerator or top, I have y sub 2 minus y sub 1. Along the bottom, we have x sub 2 minus x sub 1. I'm going to call negative 9 comma 8 my first point. So to label this one, I'm going to put x sub 1, y sub 1. And remember, the first value is your x and the second value is y. And that makes sense because mathematically, x comes before y in the alphabet. Well, if this is the first point, negative 21 10 will be the second point. So then I'll label my x term as x sub 2 followed by y sub 2. Let's get some colors in here. Okay, so first of all, my y sub 2 is located right here. And so I'm going to substitute 10 in the same spot that y sub 2 was. Then I'm going to get my x sub 2, and my x sub 2 is negative 21, and that's going to go where the x sub 2 used to be. So I've got negative 21. Switching over to green, my y sub 1 is located right here, which is going to be 8. So I will put 8 where the y sub 1 was. Underneath that, I have my x sub 1, and my x sub 1 is negative 9. Underneath here, I have a negative 9, and I'm going to include it in parentheses because I do have this negative 9. And I'm going to circle that because anytime we have a negative 9, that's going to switch to addition. So I'm going to take a moment to simplify that. In the top, I would still just write 10 minus 8. And then in the bottom, or the denominator, I'm going to write negative 21. But again, negative 9 is going to switch to plus 9. So now I have 10 minus 8, which is positive 2. And then negative 21 plus 9. Let's see, that's almost 10. So negative 21 plus 10, that would be negative 11, but it's one more. So that's going to give me negative 12. So I have obviously a negative slope because I have a negative in the bottom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide the numerator and the denominator by 2. So if I divide by 2 over 2, let's see, 2 divided by 2, that gives me 1. And then negative 12 divided by 2 is negative 6. So my slope is a negative 1 over 6, or I guess you could say 1 over negative 6. Then when I use slope dude, we have different facial features. I've got a positive slope, a negative slope. I have a nose that's undefined, and then I have a mouth that's a 0 slope. So in this case, because I have a negative slope, it's going to be his right eye right here. And anytime we have a line that goes down and to the right, we would describe that as a negative slope. Next question. What is the slope of the line that passes through the points negative 1, negative 10, and negative 1, negative 2? Write your answer in simplest form. So like the last one, I'm going to start out by writing my formula for slope, y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. I'm going to label negative 1, negative 10 as my first point. So this will be my x sub 1, y sub 1. I'm going to label this as point 2. So this will become my x sub 2, y sub 2. Let's see, I'm going to give myself a fraction bar, put in my subtract top and bottom. I'm going to use the color blue for my y value. So in goes negative 2. For my x sub 2, I'm going to substitute negative 1. Switching over to green for my y sub 1. Oh, wait a second. Why did I put a 2 there? Oh, that's embarrassing. All right, let me change that. Sorry about that, guys. X sub 1, y sub 1. Okay, sorry again. Y sub 1, and my y sub 1 is negative 10. So that's going to It's going to change right there. I've got a negative, negative. I'm just going to box that to draw attention to that. And then underneath that will be my x sub 1, which is negative 1. And it looks like the same thing is going to happen right there. So again, we're going to take a moment to simplify this as negative 2. And well, let's just do it. So I have negative 2, negative, negative 10 switches to plus 10. Then I have negative 1, and then negative, negative 1 switches to plus 1. Negative 2 plus 10 is positive 8, and negative 1 plus 1 is 0. And the phrase, and I'm going to type it out because this actually over the years has helped a lot of students. And here is the phrase. When 0 is under the line, the slope is undefined. And the reason why that's helpful is a lot of students will encounter slopes that have a 0 in the top or in the bottom. But again, the mnemonic, when 0 is under the line, the slope is undefined. You can't divide something by a group that's not really there, you know? Okay, so to clarify, and if I went, I'm just going to go ahead and write undefined. And then if I draw a slope dude, positive, negative, the nose is undefined. That should be straight up and down. And his mouth is horizontal. So in this case, we would have a line that, how about I use a line feature, goes up and down like that. And when it's like that, we would describe it as being vertical. So I'm just going to write vertical. And there you have it. Quick review of slope, and we did slope, at least calculating slope algebraically Monday and Tuesday. So hopefully you found this helpful.